Hi there, it's Lisa from Critters'n Ink Designs. Today is Wednesday, June the 8th, 2022. So, welcome back, and if you're new here, thanks for joining us. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute crossover card. Today I'm going to share with you a card that I did for my last month's team swap that we do. And it's a lot of fun, and it looks a little bit complicated, but it's really, really not. And so I just wanted to share that really quickly with you. But first, I have a couple things I wanted to just quickly go over with you. The mini catalog, January to June, is only available for another couple of weeks, 3 weeks. And currently, if you look on the website when you're shopping, there is a retirement last minute list, and I will post the PDFs on my blog at crittersandink.com. I meant to do that yesterday, but I've been out of town for a few days, so I'll put that up or today. And another thing I wanted to go through for the month of June, Stampin' Up is holding a BOGO sale, so buy one and get one 50% off. So any of the kits that are currently on Stampin' Up's website, if you buy one, you pay regular price, but if you buy a second one, they will automatically take 50% off the most expensive kit. So great deal if you are new to the kits and you want to share a kit with a friend. This is a great way to get started. And the other thing was you still have until June the 10th for the June paper pumpkin. And this June paper pumpkin is called Pick of the Crop. And it looks really cute, and it's all about things you'd find at a farmer's market. And there's also an additional purchase that you can make for little mini canvas shopping bags, and you have to be actually a subscriber to Paper Pumpkin to be able to buy these little bags to go if you wanted to make more for your Paper Pumpkin kit. The kit does come with one, and if you're unfamiliar with Paper Pumpkin, there is a video on my website that showcases what Paper Pumpkin's all about, and it's a monthly subscription. And it's always a surprise. We never really know what's coming until a few days ahead. And even then, you really don't see the inside of the paper pumpkin until after the 10th of the month. But everything that you need is included. So it's an all-in-one kit, completely inclusive. So if you have any questions about paper pumpkin and you'd like to reach out to me, I'd love to hear from you. You can either email me at crittersandink@gmail.com or at the contact me at crittersandink.com. So that's these things I wanted to get out of the way. And another thing I just wanted to show you really quickly is I've put together an adhesive kit. It's $50, and that includes everything that we have in here. And this cute little bag. So what we have in here is we have tear and tape adhesive, Stampin' Seal, the Tombow multi liquid glue, which this is my favorite. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I use it all the time. Mini glue dots, regular Stampin' Dimensionals, and oh, I put 2 minis in here. 2 packages of minis. So you get one regular and one mini. I'll have to swap this one out. Plus, I've also thrown in one of these adhesive erasers. If you've never used one, to take, you know how sometimes you get a little glob of glue on your project, this will actually roll the glue up into a little ball without damaging your paper. It's fabulous. I have a couple of them in my kit. Never go anywhere without them. So it's a really cute little kit, and it's slightly below what it would actually cost you to buy your products individually. And I'm throwing in the eraser and the cute little travel bag. Great to take to classes and things like that. So if you're interested in this, please let me know. I only have a limited amount of them, but I'm more than happy to get one out to you if you'd like one. All right. So again, today we're going to be making these cute cards. Aren't they fun? So this was my swap for, I think, April. I said last month, but I think actually it was for April. And I decided to do one in all of the new in colors because I just love the colors. So this one is Parakeet Parade. This one is, I don't know all my colors yet, Starry Skies, I think. This one is Orchid, something Orchid, not sure. Orchid. Let me look it up. It's driving me crazy. Orchid. Oasis. Starry Sky, Orchid Oasis. So let's start again. We have Parakeet Parade, Starry Sky, Orchid Oasis, Sweet Sorbet, and I'm missing, oh, I think I mailed it. I had one done in Tahitian Tide, which is, it's, here, I'll grab a piece. And here's the Tahitian Tide. Isn't that pretty? Okay, you're going to need a card base of your choice. Now on these ones, I did a basic white cardstock for my card base. And on this one, I used Calypso Coral, and the instead of like on these ones, you can see that I've embossed the top of the card. But on this one, I used designer series paper instead. And for this one, the collection that I used was the Pretty Prints. And I used the Calypso Coral one. And it comes in all these amazing prints. And it's 12 by 12. And it corresponds with so many colors. The Bermuda Bay, Blackberry Bliss, Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Evening Evergreen, Gorgeous Grape, Petal Pink, Rich Razzleberries, Shaded Spruce, Soft Seafoam, Soft Succulent, and Sweet Sorbet. Isn't that amazing? Beautiful. So that's how I did this one, just with the DSP. And this, although it looks like a softer version of the Calypso Coral, this is actually the back of this DSP. So for this one today, I decided that I really love the texture Chic paper. So I couldn't decide which one I like the best. Now this one is decidedly winter. It's got little snowflakes on it, but everything else is kind of generic. And I thought, I love the seashells with the little gold dots. And I mean, I could have picked any of these, but I decided to go with this one, and this is the back of this one. So it's the seashells on one side, and then the petal pink with gold foil dots on the other side. So I think that's the one I'm going to use. And then there was also the decision, do I put it with soft suede or do I put it with Evening Evergreen? And I couldn't really decide. I don't know. I kind of like them both. I'm just going to put a light on. It's kind of dark in here. Well, that light didn't seem to make any difference at all. But, yeah, I can't decide which one I like better. So that's the Evening Evergreen, and that's the soft suede. And actually, I could have gone with Mango Melody. If you look right there, that's Mango Melody. Or Petal Pink too. But I already have some in Petal Pink, so I thought, well, I'll try something different. And now I'm starting to gravitate again towards the Petal Pink, but I think I'll do it in the soft suede and see how it turns out. So to make a card, you need, if I'm doing it with designer series paper, you actually need 2 pieces because you're going to use one side for the inside and then the other side for the top of the card. Okay. You'll need your card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5. And I scored it at 4 1/4. and 2 pieces of designer series paper, which are 4 by 5 1/4, and 2 pieces of basic white, which are 4 by 5 1/4. And also then we're going to need some scraps for our labeling at the end. So this card looks difficult, but it's actually not difficult at all. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my card base and I'm going to measure. It's 5.5 across. So I'm going to measure at 2 3/4, which is half of 5.5. So I'm just going to put a pencil mark there. And I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going to trim from the score line to this point on both sides, so that I'm cutting away the 2 sides and this is going to become a V, okay? So I'm going to line up the score line with the groove in the cutting mat and my dot in the groove of the cutting mat. And I'm just going to take my blade and I'm just going to scooch right down and cut off this triangle. Now you want to keep this because this is going to go on the front of the card later. And I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm lining up my score mark there and the point of my card in the groove as well. And I'm just going to lay this down and cut that and put that aside. So this is the front of our card, or the base of our card. Okay. Okay, so next we're going to do our designer series paper. One is going to go in the center like this of the card, and then one is going to go in the front. So I think I'm going to put the seashells on inside the base of the card, and I'm going to put the dots on the front of the card. Now you could do both the same, but it doesn't give much of a contrast, I don't think. We could try one and see what we think. But I think having a contrast between what's on the inside and what's on the outside is going to be in our favor, but we can see. Okay, so I'm just going to center that right in there. And so on our other piece of designer series paper, it's 5.5 across. No, sorry, it's 5 1/4 across. So I'm going to mark it at 2 5/8, which is half of 5 1/4. So 2 5/8. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut from the corner to my pencil mark on both sides so that I create a V. Okay, so I'm going to put the corner in the groove where the cutting blade goes, and my little dot in the groove where the cutting blade goes. So there's one. I'm going to rotate this and do the same thing on the other side. There. And then this is going to sit here. And then these are going to go here. So this is where you can decide whether you want, whoops, I was going to do this. Now, just looking at this, I guess it would depend if you were doing this for a male or a female. If you were doing it for a male, you could keep it this way and do this. And actually that looks okay. I don't mind that. Some of the papers that are busier, I don't love. With the crazy busyness of the really busy paper top and bottom, I just find it very distracting. But this isn't too bad. I don't mind this actually. So that's not too bad. But if we were going to do it the other way, with this on the top, we'd have to flip these this way. I don't know. Now that with this particular paper, I actually think I prefer the seashells on both sides. I think that's what I'm going to do. Executive decision. We can go ahead and make another one in the evening evergreen and do it the other way and see how that looks. But I think I like this better. And so I have to flip these back over this way. And I'm going to show you too how to do it with embossed cardstock, because it's a little bit different technique for that. There. So now when you're placing these triangles, you want to make sure that the points touch the edges. So you want the point to touch at the bottom here and on the side here, plus just barely up at the top like this. And the same on this side. I'm going to, oops. So I've got it here, here. I just want to rotate it a little bit so that it's not sticking out over the top or over the sides. There. Okay. So I'm going to glue. Now you only want to glue the top maybe third of this. Otherwise you're going to glue your card together, which isn't a plan. So I'm just going to scooch this there like that. And same here. So I'm just going to hold this up so that I can rotate this just right, because I want this to be even on both sides. And that's why I'm using liquid glue, because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room, right? You want to be able to scooch it over if you have to. So that's the outside of our card. And it's so easy, isn't it? Like, it's just super duper easy. And then for the inside of the card, even though we have the designer series paper on the inside, what we need to do is make somewhere that we can make, put a sentiment. So I have a piece of Whisper White, Whisper White, boy, there's a flashback, to the basic white, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And on the 5 1/4 side, I'm going to mark again at 2 5/8. Just a little pencil mark. And I'm going to cut the 2 corners off. And that's going to be, make a triangle for the inside of our card. So I'm lining up my point in the groove of the cutting blade, where the cutting blade goes, and my pencil dot in the groove of the, whoops, in the groove and in the groove. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to rotate it and do the same thing on the other side. So I've got the corner in the groove and the pencil mark in the groove. There we go. And at this point, we can stamp a sentiment. And this is going to get glued in right here. Okay. So for the sentiment, I'm using the Season of Chic, which is part of this suite. And this is the first chance I've had to use these, so I'm pretty excited. So I'm going to find the seashell. And I'm just going to give it a little clean because it's brand new. I'm just going to give it a little clean on the Simply Chamois just to get any oily residue that might be left over from manufacturing. And I'm going to take my soft suede. Just going to grab a scrap here and see what this is going to look like in the soft suede on here. Kind of flying by the seat of my pants here today. So I like that. I like that. Hi, I'm back. I'm not sure what happened here, but my video actually stopped recording right at that point. So I'll just carry on and show you what I did. On my triangle here, I just cut another triangle to sort of show you what I was doing. I used the seashell and the sentiments from the season of Chic. And to cut out my label pieces, I used the seasonal labels from the new annual catalog. So I used the soft suede ink and stamped off the seashell to stamp it twice, second generation, and then put a sentiment on the inside. And on the outside, I used the sentiment from the season of Chic and then cut out the basic white with the smallest of the label dies. Then I took the larger of the long, narrow label dies and I cut one piece out of the soft suede. And then I embellished with 3 of the polished dots. Now on the Evening Evergreen card, I used the same DSP and I used a basic white card base. Then used the middle-sized die to cut out a background in the designer series paper, and then the smaller one to cut out the Evening Evergreen and the Whisper White in the same size, and then I cut off the top and bottom ruffle of the Whisper White piece. Then I embellished it with 3 of the brushed metallic dots. This little snippet just shows you what I mean about cutting off the top and bottom ruffle of that sentiment that I then layered on top of the Evening Evergreen piece that was the same size as the basic white. I then layered the basic white on top of the Evening Evergreen and then layered those 2 pieces on top of the DSP. For the embossed front, you'll need a piece of cardstock that's 5 1/4 by 4. And again, we're going to mark it the same way that we marked the designer series paper for the front of the other card. So you're going to mark the center of the 5 1/4 side at 2 5/8. And then we're going to use the trimmer to cut from the top right and left corners down towards the center where your pencil mark is to create 2 offcuts and your center triangle. Okay, so I'm going to grab my trimmer and I'm lining up the top right corner with the cutting groove and the pencil mark at the bottom also in the cutting groove, and I'm just cutting that off and rotating my paper and putting what would be the left top corner and the pencil groove into the groove, pencil mark, not the pencil groove. And then I'm going to line them up the way they were originally, because you want to make sure that your cardstock stays in the same orientation that it was originally. Otherwise, you stand the chance, if you just do them individually, you stand the chance of having one of your pieces embossed on the wrong side. For this example, I use the Time Worn type. It's a 3D embossing folder. So here are the 3 pieces of embossed cardstock, and the large triangle goes in the front center of the card, centered like we did with the designer series paper. And then these 2 offcuts will be layered on the basic white cardstock that we had cut off from the front triangle, and then crisscrossed over on the front like we did again with designer series paper. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I really enjoyed sharing it with you. All of the products that I used today can be found listed below in the video description. And if there's anything that you have questions about or would like to place an order with me, I would really appreciate your business. And if you aren't already a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. And if you are a subscriber, go ahead and hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for sharing your time with me, and we'll see you soon.